You're now tuned into The Jason Maharaja Show.
Yo, what up, everybody? This is your boy, Jason Maharaja. This is The Jason Maharaja Show, and I'm here with a very special guest, DJ Reminisce. How you doing, my brother?
Good, bro. First of all, thanks a lot for having me on here, man. I've been a huge fan of you guys. You know that since day one. You know, from the rap
Yeah.
days to where you are now. The podcasts were epic, and now
Yeah.
you're on a new venture, which is fantastic. And big ups to you, man, for holding it out with the job. That's crazy. Big ups.
Thanks, man. I'm here. There's like a big blackout. We don't have a power. My little Shih Tzu puppy's barking in the back. He's like, I want
It's
to be
all
in the
good.
podcast. Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, man. So what have you been working on lately, man? I've been watching your content. Been going at it.
Honestly, I just been working on myself. I think it was about time. You know what I mean? You know me, you know my brand. It's always been about pushing artists and, release your music and just
Mhm.
keep going. And at some point you got to set the example for that. You know what I mean? Like you've seen it where you follow your mentors and stuff. They'll say stuff, but you never actually see them do it. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that guy. So if I'm saying you need to push your music out, I need to release music. If
Yeah.
I'm saying you need to do this, you need to do it. So everything I've been doing now is stuff that I live by, and I've got the receipts for them.
Yeah.
That's my whole thing. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it was about time. I'm at a point in my career now where I have the time and I've got the mental capacity to be able to showcase that stuff. It's not about me being famous or a superstar or selling streams. That's not what it's not what it is. I want people to use me as an example. Like if this guy can do it at whatever his age and he sucks, imagine what I could do. You get what I'm saying? That's the whole point.
Like, you have your studios, you run your own operations. From the outside, it sounds incredible. And I've talked to
Thank you.
enough people like that have their version of the story, but they don't put it on a poster. What's the most unglamorous truth about this music industry?
It's the fear of the unknown is the biggest thing. It's not money because you and I know you can basically make a song for free. Literally, you can go on
Mm.
YouTube right now, search a beat for free. You can record on your phone,
Mhm.
mix it on your phone. You can put it out for free anywhere,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
SoundCloud, YouTube, whatever. So releasing your music's not the issue. The issue is, am I good enough? What are people gonna say? Low-key kenge. It's still that fear of putting yourself out there, because it's not like 2008 2010 when social media was fresh. It was more like a gimmick. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now it's a necessity. It has to be part of your brand and your brand building, and not
Yeah.
everyone can do that, put themselves forward in that sort of aspect. It's not just
Yeah.
that.
I think like the low-key kanage is like passed down through generations, and like when you're growing up and it's the external voices, and like end of the day you reach a point in life where like I don't give a shit what people
Yeah.
are gonna think. Like that's not
Yeah.
me. But when you're growing up, especially your teenage years, your 20s, you're like, yo, what are they gonna think about me? Is this cool? Is this not? And at what point did this stop being exciting and started being heavy? Just like, this.
I'll tell you when. It's when you don't see any results, mainly money. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Becomes like an expensive hobby, which it will be in the beginning. You and I know that, right? I mean,
Mhm.
you've been through the trenches. I've been through anyone that starts out of the gate, those people that make something, whether it's creative, art, songs, and pop it right out of the gate, that's rare. That's like less than 1%. So you can't include that in this conversation. The strength that you can maintain is how long can you sustain what you're trying to do for?
Mm.
And that's where people fail, right? That's
Yeah.
the ugly part. The ugly part is doing this day in and day out, what you and I do every day, without any
Yeah.
monetary gain, without any love, without
Yeah.
any likes, without any
Yeah.
shares, getting beat up, getting told
Yeah.
you're a clown. You
Mhm.
see what I'm saying? There's so much. The negative kind of outweighs the positives in the beginning.
Yeah. When you get started, like one thing I can relate is like, you have the excitement of like just recording something and listening to it over and over again. And then like over time, you're putting out money, you're arguing with your family. Everyone's like, what are you doing? Because that's not the traditional route, right? You're like, you have the belief in you. You're like, yo, I'm gonna do this. Watch me do this. Over time, one of the biggest things that I learned was people don't teach you is the administrative end of the music industry,
I know.
how to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing I learned. I felt like I knew everything. And when I sat with one of my mentors, he's like, dude, you can sit in a studio and bob your head all day, but if you don't know how to protect your music, your creation, like none of this means Zero, right? And how important is it for artists these days to learn how to protect their music?
This is the thing, you're not an artist anymore, right? You are
Yeah.
a beat maker, producer, mix engineer, accountant, lawyer, marketing agency, graphic designer. As soon as you put something out, as soon as you
Mm-hmm.
put your face out in the public, you're
Mm-hmm.
now a company and you got to treat yourself like a company. It's just
Mm-hmm.
facts. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I said, you may get lucky, you may pop, but then what? See, here's the other problem is you have people that get successful, they're not ready for it.
Yeah.
Then what do? You see what I'm saying? So
Yep.
I'm not saying right out of the gate, you need to worry about this stuff, but it should be in the back of your head saying, okay, when Ghana ho gaya, right? What's the next step? You gotta do this in stages. And
Yeah.
initially out of the gate, like I say this to everyone, you gotta start slow. Like, I know everyone's hungry, everyone wants to put out albums and stuff, but if you have zero following and you got no idea what you're doing, there's plenty of resources out there, but you gotta put something out and then kind of learn, right? Because you're gonna make mistakes. Like you and
Mm-hmm.
I know that our first song we ever did, like
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna go back to like, I mean, what were we thinking, right? You know what I mean? But the idea is every time you do something, every time you take a step forward, it's got to be better than the last step.
Yeah.
You're gonna fail, you're gonna stumble. It's like stairs, right? When you're running up, you cut your foot, you kind of stumble.
Yeah.
Right? But
Yeah.
the idea is overall, over a period of time, every little small success is going to lead to bigger successes, right? But that's only going to come by failing, not by killing it. This is the thing that
Yeah.
people don't understand. People want immediate success, but no one's ready for it.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's not easy, especially when you're going in. I try to let artists know, I'm like, hey, you better protect yourself before you go get in there, right? Make sure you're registered, your
Yep.
IPRS, your SOCAN, your ASCAP,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
like you genuinely want to help people, but in the end, you kind of as the artist grows, the ego kicks in, right?
Yeah.
As in like, "Oh, this is all me, bro. Like I'm doing this. Like, what are you doing here?" Even though you're sitting there, you're guiding them and you're like, dude, like I'm here to protect you. I'm not here to like like if you're successful, that only helps me. That doesn't like I'm trying to help you out here, but they don't see it like that. So, there's a lot of disappointments in the music industry. And one question I have that I want to ask you is every person who builds something hits a wall at some point. And it's not a setback. I mean the kind of wall that where you genuinely think that this might be the end to it. Did you hit that?
Many times, bro. Many times. I got war stories. When I first started DJing, like that's
Mm,
like I can tell you exactly when. I remember going to a school, dance. I was setting up. I was an AV guy, so I was already into the music thing. I was setting up, and I still remember Maximus Clean, famous DJ out in our ends, man. He became a homie, and he was DJing, and he was like, I just fell in love with what he was doing. Went home, I want to be a DJ. The first wall I hit was, no, you're not.
mm,
You know what I mean?
mm,
And then, when I started DJing school stuff, I went to the clubs. This is a
yeah,
true story. Every Friday, Saturday, I'd take a bag of records. I knocked on every club door in Vancouver, downtown, and be like, "Hey, let me on, let me on, let me on." No, 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 no. It's only until one guy let me on, gave me a chance. You know
mhm,
what I mean?
yeah,
I've hit so many walls, like, like I'm surrounded by them daily. You know what I mean? From like apprenticeship when I was getting into the studio game. I knocked on every studio door. I'm like, I want to be an apprentice. I want to be
yeah,
no, no, no. It only happened and this like, the studio closed down now. It's Fiasco Brothers, famous studio. Every Punjabi artist you can think of, we recorded there. From
yeah,
Jazzy, Mamon Waters, Sarabjit Chima, anyone you can think of, right? I
yeah,
did my apprenticeship there. Len, I have to knock on the door, you know what I mean? Metaphorically speaking, I'm like, hey, I wanna learn to be a studio gig. He's like, are you Punjabi? I go, yeah, perfect. He goes, we're about to record, you know, Harpajan Manhuni. I have no
yeah,
idea what's going on. I
yeah,
was in right place, right
yeah,
time.
yeah,
That's my career. So for every door that you're gonna hit, there's gonna be something else that opens. You just got it. The problem is most people will quit when they hit that first obstacle. That's just facts.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? And I listen. My studio took off by myself as an engineer at
mhm,
45 years old.
mm,
Imagine if I quit, 20 years ago, whatever. I wouldn't be where I am today. Or DJing. If that first club said no, I started crying and packed my bags and threw everything out, I wouldn't be who I am today. You know what I mean?
mhm,
It's at the end of the day, it's your internal desire that's gonna let you win. Nobody
true,
else. No one else is gonna be like, oh, bro, here, let me go talk to the club owner for you. No, I got it. No one, right? It's that inner itcha that you have inside you. That's
yeah.
the key. You gotta have it.
What made you, even after being rejected over and over again, like what made you want to bounce back and be like, I'm not done with this yet?
I was just a nag, bro. Honestly, I just couldn't take no for an answer. I have just my nature. I got a big problem with authority. It's just me. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't care who you were, how big you were, how much money you had. Like, it's like, if I want to get something done in terms of it's going to help me, I will find a way. So, there's more than one clubs wherever you are. There's more than one. And, I knew that if the timing was right, something would come up, right?
Timing,
Or
yeah.
I'd open my own doors. I'd be like, okay, if no one's going to hire me to whatever, I'll do my own party. So I started throwing my own parties. I met with a couple of DJs. I'm like, look, I'll throw the party, right? You guys are the main DJs. I just want to play in the beginning, just so I can get some practice in. So we throw parties, like we used to do mad parties, man, in like Vancouver and stuff, around the block lineups, right? I had Maximus Clean, DJ Dave, Earl the Pearl, like we'd have reggae, hip hop, dance, all covered. We used to do crazy parties, right? And I'd be the opener, right? But you build relationships.
Yeah.
It's all about relationships
It
and
is.
keeping them strong, right? Like,
One of
look,
the
you
thi-
and I, right? We've
yeah,
met through social media, and like, we've become like homies, right? Because we kept the
yeah,
relationship going. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Same
yeah.
thing.
One of the things that like I kind of have a debate with my wife as well is we talk about, meeting clients in person or online. I'm more of like the online person where
Mhm.
she's like, "Hey, you got to go in person. You got to go shake
Yeah.
their hands." And like over time when you do that, you actually see, there is a difference. Even though you can have the initial contact online, eventually you're going to have to sit down and meet and shake the person's hand and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" So like
Yep.
I guess like what do you prefer? Do you prefer online business or in-person business?
It depends. So I prefer, to me, it doesn't matter. But in
Mm,
our business, especially arts and entertainment, it has to be collective together. Because
mm,
when you are, see, the biggest problem, when you are in a room together and you've got a time limit and you've spent money, say for example, we booked a session, right?
yeah.
It's a 4-hour recording session.
Mhm,
Everyone's in. We got
mhm,
4 hours. You got 4 hours to create magic, and
mhm,
you'll be forced to create magic, right?
mhm,
And with 4 other people, you can collaborate. That's why
mhm.
all the records from like back in the day to like say 2015, 2020 were all bangers, right? It's
Facts.
different. I don't give a fuck what any, sorry man, I mean, no, sorry, but
It's
I
all
don't
good,
care what
no
anyone
worries.
says. Like, there's when you're for, and I've witnessed this as an engineer, right? When you are across the pond, that's a different situation. But when you're like, if you can be together, human contact will be, well, I'll say AI any day, right? Or over the phone, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, we're having a great conversation, but I guarantee you, we were together in the same room, it'd be totally different.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Because we
Yeah,
read off each other's, energy and stuff like that.
yeah,
There's something you
yeah,
just can't beat. Like, listen, when I would like those podcasts that you guys did together,
yeah,
they were epic, right? Because you guys are
yeah,
rolling off each other and making jokes and stuff. It's a different thing, right?
yeah,
Because when you're together and you break the sort of mold, your
yeah.
barrier comes down.
Right.
It's a psychological thing too, right?
Nice. So
Yeah.
when it comes to making decisions, how do you make big decisions when you can't see the outcome? Is there something you lean on, like belief, mindset, or anything?
Things, the more experience you get, the
Mm-hmm.
better decisions you make. The more experience you get, the better you trust your gut, right? You got to trust your gut. It's rarely wrong. Like, it's rarely wrong. Your body knows you better than you. Let me put it that way. You know what I mean? And
Mm,
you also got to rely on sort of whatever decision you're making, see what others have done. As kind of like as a point, like, or as like a sort of reference point. Doesn't mean you got to
mm,
follow them, but
yeah.
because I guarantee you, anything that you want to do, anything that needs to be accomplished, someone's already done it. There's nothing that's been done out there that hasn't been done before. There's nothing. So whatever it is you're trying to do, you know what I mean? There's always some sort of reference point, a friend, a colleague, the internet, whatever it is. But big decisions come with big responsibilities. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
the thing. Yeah, that's the thing where people get wrong, right? It's do you think with your heart or do you think with your mind? The initial
Mm,
one is with the heart, right? The
heart.
emotions are
Yeah.
high, but you got to
Yeah.
really step back and be like, okay, all right, do I really need to go buy that Ferrari? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
yeah,
So the music industry again, shifts after a
yep,
couple of years. There's always a new sound, new artists, new wave. Right now, it's a heavy AI wave,
yeah,
right? A lot of
yeah,
people are seeing, like, I remember my mentor, he played all the instruments by hand, right? He was a live musician. And so when I
yeah.
came into the studio, I'm like, yo, what's going on? Like, check out these loops, bro. Right? He's
Yeah, I
looking at
remember
me
the
like,
videos. Yeah, I
yeah.
remember those. Yeah, you posted
Yeah,
those. Yeah,
yeah. He's looking at me like, my brother, this ain't music. Right? And I'm like, this
yeah,
is how it's done now, right? Like, this is what
yeah.
it is. And basically, over time, he adapted to that as well. He's like, okay, you know what? Like, this is where we're headed. This is where we're headed. And now all of a sudden, boom, here comes AI. No boundaries, no restrictions. Everything goes. People are dropping music online, AI, like no one, so what are your thoughts about this? And how is this going to like impact the music industry moving forward?
It already has. Look, AI is not changing. It's not going away. If anything, it's getting better and better every day.
Mm,
I don't have a problem with AI. The
mm,
problem I have is it's not fair to, because you got to remember AI is based on already stuff that's been created, right?
mhm,
So I think it needs to be regulated in such a way that if you are creating AI, good for you, but you got to have your own separate sort of things. AI revenue, AI awards, AI Grammys. It's not fair that you're bundling someone like, say, yourself or me that are handcrafting something, right? And Spotify decides to dump money in an AI company and they're blasting their own stuff on the charts,
mm,
right? Like you're competing like the barrier entry is so low that you're already competing with thousands, hundreds of thousands of artists for a very small, tiny piece of pie on the average. I'm not talking about the top 10%, right? Like I'm talking about myself or someone else starting out. So now you've got another element on top where someone who doesn't know anything at all about music can basically come in, pump in, like, give me a whatever, right? And put out music, release it, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But it's not fair to the creators and to be monetized for it. I think there's an issue there that needs to be regulated.
mhm,
People need to know that you're listening to AI. I know they're working on that. So there's a like there needs to be a separate like everything else has got a category. Why can't AI have its own category? That's the part I don't understand. You get what I'm
mhm.
saying? Like
Yeah.
there's you know what I mean?
Yep.
I think AI is great. Like it gives an opportunity for people to do some crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, should you be able to make dumb money out of it? That's a philosophical question. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Because you've seen it yourself. Like you're about to invest in like movies and stuff. You've seen what
Yep.
AI can do in the film industry. It's nuts.
Yep.
It's crazy. What
Mhm.
a team of 20 would be able to do for thousands of dollars, you can do
Mhm.
in 5 minutes for $50 a month.
And it's only gonna get crazier,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
I
Yeah.
think I think the arts and entertainment game has changed forever. It's done, like
Mm.
especially like graphic designers and sort of like special effects
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's the industry's going to take a hit. It is what it is. But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, there's got to be, I think the regulations got to come in quicker than what the AI is putting out. You know what I mean? But like anything, governments are going to take their time.
Yeah. Canada, when it comes to like AI, it's not as like, out there. It's not being marketed as well as you see in India,
Correct. Yeah.
US, Dubai. Like these guys are
Yeah.
going at it. The government's throwing money left, right, and
Yep.
center. Develop, develop, develop. Here, everything's just oversaturated when it comes to tech in India, right?
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but otherwise, what I would like to say is live music is where it's gonna be out of it now, you know,
That's the cheat code.
because and like
Yep.
if you can perform live, like that's what's gonna be more valuable than anything because it's giving you a real experience. And I was actually listening to one of the Dame Dash videos recently, and he's just like, dude, I'm not even gonna record you unless you can go perform live at this point. Like, first I
Yeah.
need to see your performance. Like, why are you running into the studio? Can you even
Yep.
perform the track? Right? So that's where we're at. Like, if you can have, good, great talent, but live performance is one thing. And Sidhu Musa, speaking of live performance, I think he has a concert coming out, right? He's going on
Yeah.
tour.
Virtual concert. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Have you read anything about that?
All I know is there's some company in Italy that's doing the whole design set. It'd be like, I don't know if it's hologram or if it's CGI. That I don't know. I'm assuming kind of like remember what Dre did with Tupac at Coachella?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I was showing the Snoop Dogg
Yeah.
and
So you hit the nail on the head there. I think the cheat code going forward for any artist. So if any artist is watching this, you need to pick up an instrument and play it, showcase it, whether it's singing, playing, whatever it is, because that human connection tangibility thing is a cheat code. Definitely
mhm,
100%. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Sorry, man, background noise.
All good, man. All good.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're right on that, bro. Like it's a different world now, but that doesn't mean that see music like it's got cycles, right? But there's
Mm-hmm.
certain elements of the music game that should never change, the artistry of it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're losing. Like, did you see any of the comments from Rolling Loud that happened
I haven't.
online?
I haven't.
You should go after you go, you should go
Yeah,
check it out.
I'll
Watch
check
the
them out.
videos of Rolling Loud and you see
Yeah.
the comment, like it's really bad, like really bad. Like you said, like the Damon Dash thing you brought up,
Yeah.
he is
Yeah.
100% spot on.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of seen that in the last few years as well, even with Desi artists performing and playback singing. Like people are just like, dude, we're paying so much money to come watch. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I think like going back to that Sidhu the concert, I think he's gonna be the anomaly because he's got such a cult following. So I think people will go see him. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
his fans they're hardcore.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna be like, but he's been the anomaly since he's come out of everything. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
that one special case.
Yeah.
But if someone like, I don't know, name some other artist, that who's passed away, I
Yeah.
don't think it would pop in numbers like that, in my opinion. But
Diljit's doing really well. They're saying out
yeah,
of every artist.
yeah,
He just in the last few years, man, this guy he just went international real quick. First I'm just like,
yeah.
is there a conspiracy behind this? Then I'm like, nah, like this guy's actually killing it right now. Sometimes it's like,
Yeah.
is this too good to be true? Like what the hell's going on here?
Look, at the end of the day, he's a perfect example of building his brand and running like a business, right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
He's
and I
got a
don't
great
mean this,
team.
like, I say stuff and I don't mean it disrespectfully, but facts are facts. Like, he's got a big machine behind him, right? You can't, like, I don't, like, we can agree there's probably before Doljit hit Coachella, there's other artists on that same sort of tier A list. We agree. I'm not saying good or better, right? But there's a reason why he made it to Coachella because he had the backing behind him to get him on Coachella or on Jimmy Fallon.
Correct.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
whatever. It's a proud moment. I'm not hating him at all for it. I think it's fantastic that whoever was able to pull those strings for him did it because he deserves it, right? All I'm saying is like we can argue who's better, who's worse. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, it's who's running the shit behind you. And he's got a
Yeah.
big machine behind him. And
Yeah.
he is, regardless of what you say about him at the end of the day as an artist,
Yeah.
what he's been able to accomplish as a Sardar in our culture is massive.
Yeah.
Huge, right? For someone
Yeah.
like him to play in like some of the biggest festivals in the world. I don't care if you like him or not. I'm not a particular fan of a Diljit fan in the sense of his music and stuff, right? It's just not my cup of tea. But at the end of the day, I'm so goddamn proud of what he's done.
Yeah.
You can't hate on that, right?
No, and you know what's funny? Because there used to be like Inderjeet, Niku, and
Yep.
Diljit like face to face,
Yeah.
and like the other day I'm like driving through Ludhiana and I just see Inderjeet and Niku standing at the
No
corner.
way.
Yeah, I'm like damn. He
Yeah.
he has some funny videos out too. Shout out to Inderjeet Niku. Everybody went to
Shout out.
everybody went to tie a pug like him at one point, man. They're like, yo,
Yeah.
Niku
Yeah.
wali pug, Niku wali pug, right?
Yep.
But yeah, man, when it was about 2016, was it
Ugh.
2016, 2015? Around that time, I was just like, Honey Singh comes around, and I'm like, dude, like, this is going pretty mainstream. Like, the hip hop is hitting
Yeah.
up. I'm like, and a lot of people didn't believe me back then. I'm like, dude, like, it's gonna be like, hip hop is gonna be known. Like, even in the villages, people are gonna know what rap is. They're gonna be wearing Jordans. Like, I just had this like vision. So my cousin and his partner, they had a startup for a co-working space. And I'm like messaging them like, dude, I'm going on YouTube right now. I'm typing in Punjabi rapper, latest videos. I'm messaging these guys, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, we need to make a Def Jam right now, right? Like, I'm like, dude, we need to make a Def Jam in Brampton. Downtown Brampton was the office. And these guys are like, email us an appointment meeting and we'll schedule you in. My own cousins, right? I go in there, I make a presentation. I'm like, dude, this is what's going on. And they just slept on it, right? So we built a studio. That's when I met Jazz and we started working on like, the podcast and kind of rap. Cause I'm like, dude, if no one's going to do this, I'm going to have to do this right now if no one's believing me, right? But over time, now it's like that was the first wave,
Yeah.
That was the first wave. And now it's like, what do you think it's next?
Whatever sound the West decides to push forward, we're going to be like 3-4 years behind. So I knew as soon as the South, sort of that 808 sound came, it was just a matter of time before, we decided doing it, right? See, here's the thing.
OVO, XO.
So India obviously is the biggest market for our music. They're hands down, but they're not innovators.
No.
Out you and I out west, we're the innovators for the music for the foreseeable future
Mhm.
until we go back to say traditional Punjabi folk music or something like that. You know what I mean? If we're talking about heavy beat based stuff, like even the stuff that comes out now, like you hear some of the stuff that comes out now, is still 2, 3, a few years behind than say like what Mustard or Metro Boomin's putting out.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
why and you and I were in hip hop, so that when I listen to stuff that comes out of like our culture, it's like okay, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like I've already heard it before,
Mhm.
not in a mean way. Like I'm
Mhm.
not trying to be disrespectful, but it's like you really gotta be on that same sort of par or whatever. But it's not our call, right? It's at the end of the day, it's the listeners that decide
It's
what's
the
good, what's
audience,
not.
yeah.
And but as a music head, it's kind of frustrating sometimes. We're always kind of like like behind the ball when it
Mhm.
comes to sort of like the mainstream stuff. Like I'll give you an example. Like how long has K-pop been out? 10 years now, probably.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's one of the most listened to genres in the world,
Yeah.
bro. They fill up stadiums, right?
Mhm.
It's black culture. It's
Mm.
basically designed black culture, ported over to wherever, right? You can't tell me in a nation of 1 billion people, you can't find 6 guys that can dance and sing or 6 girls that can dance and sing. It boggles my mind. I have the same. So through the years you build relationships. I got friends in Live Nation. I got friends like music heads, AR labels. They say to me all the time, they're like, if you don't find that, we're going to find them and we're going to
Mhm.
make a killing. Right? You know what I mean? It just makes no sense.
That's facts.
And we're a nation of dancing and singing. It's not like it's new to us. You get what I'm saying? Like it
Right.
makes no sense. Like we are like the whole culture from across. Doesn't matter Hindu, Punjabi, from Bengal, from Kerala. It doesn't matter. We all
Mhm.
have a version Gujarati. We all have a version of a traditional singing and dancing. And you can't tell
Yeah.
me you can't find 6 people in each goddamn demographic. Okay,
Yeah.
Dolala. You can't find 2. You can't find 1. Show me 1 person that can sing and dance in our culture. Can you name one?
No.
Like a Justin Timberlake or a Janet Jackson, or there isn't anybody. Bruno Mars, there isn't anyone.
Never thought about it because I'm too busy
That's the money
worried
maker.
about the hip hop game. It's just like you never. No, hold on. Let me ask this question. Do you know any artists that's like able to sing and dance at the same time? Yeah. No. Yeah. Bollywood counts too, right?
Yeah, but they all lip singing, right?
They're lip sync.
Give me 1 second, bro. I gotta
Nope.
get these
Oh,
guys.
good. You know how like Michael Jackson and all these like yeah. So you're right, man. I never thought about it like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I tell you, if someone can figure that out, it's
Yeah.
game over. They'll sell out
Yeah.
stadiums, bro.
Yeah. We had Chumkila who can play the tubi and sing at the same time.
But
That's
even
the
stuff
only.
like that, there's nobody doing it now.
No.
Really?
No.
I think the middle ground is finished. I think it's going to be small acoustic stuff like that. Like you said, like someone playing tumbi at like a
Mhm.
lounge or something, going
Mhm.
around doing shows or
Mhm.
playing with a guitar, or it's going to be packed out Diljit style stuff.
Yeah.
Because the club gigs, I think, in my opinion, they're kind of like, they're not going for the artist per se. I guess maybe, I don't know, but they're all regulars going anyways. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? If you've established a night.
I had a personal like thought about I'm like, when I went to Western in London, we had
Mhm.
I had 2 years of like heavy EDM. Like I went to like
Yeah.
Avicii, Dead Mouse, and all
Yeah.
these guys. Like sometimes when I study or I'm working or long drives, I need
Yeah.
like just focus music. For me, that stuff helps me out. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I sat with my engineer and I'm like, dude, this is a formula. This is what we gotta do because this is what's gonna happen with the youth. Right? They want to hit the clubs. They want to sound international, and that's the sound that I want to go for now. Right? I have a good catalog. Right? Then it
Yep.
all comes down to like visuals, but I also think like that's where things are headed when it comes to the next generation of music because it's more electronic, more
Yeah.
parties.
Beat-based.
Because the
Yeah.
cultures, 20 years ago was different. Now they're a
Yep.
little bit open minded, and it's just gonna get more and more and more and more and more open minded to go out, go party, have a good time. I don't know how it was when you guys were like DJing that time.
It was like different modes, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Miami based one, and then it was like South, and it was like West Coast,
Mm.
East Coast. But I think the cheat code for like people making music is house. Like we don't like name me a Punjabi house DJ that's on the circuit. It's untapped market.
Huh?
People like us would bring David Guetta to India. You know what I mean? You thought it would kickstart. Like there's great house DJs, but actually on the circuit. repping. They're playing Ibiza or, doing like the big festivals.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, that's like that stuff never gets old in the sense of like,
No.
you know what I mean?
And
Like
like,
it's a culture. It's such a like house is a like it's a culture. It's like hip
yeah.
hop is a culture, right? You know what I
Mm-hmm,
mean? It's
mm-hmm,
its own sort of entity. It's cool. It's fascinating because we used to, we like I worked doing sound my whole career too, so we would do
mm-hmm,
all the raves and stuff. You'd be fascinated,
mm-hmm.
going, "Holy, this is wild!" Right?
With the lighting and the visuals, the whole
Everything.
concert. I know, man. Like,
People, the dress code, like it's the dances, like it's
mm-hmm.
outside looking in, you're like, "Ami aki kardiyan," right? But when you're actually watching and seeing it, it's like
Yeah.
how they
This
connect
is,
with the Ghani and stuff. Like they know
yeah,
like this song, you're gonna do this. Like it's wild,
yeah.
right?
So that's
It's
why,
interesting.
like, experiencing those concerts when I'm making
Yeah.
that music, it's kind of like firsthand. I know, okay, let's chop this up. Let's repeat this sound here. This part is catchy, you know?
Yeah.
So those are the things like a person looking from the outside may not know, like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
This is some chopped up weird, like, why are we
Yeah.
messing around with this sound, right? But like when you know the rhythm and like, I kind of relate that to Sufi and Qawwali music because it's live
100%.
and there's a
Yeah.
build up and they look at the crowd, they see what they're
Yeah.
jamming to, that they repeat that over and over and over
Yeah.
and over, and then there's a drop. So because like I would be studying like Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan and I'm like, yo, what's going on here? And it kind of clicked to me. I'm like, this really reminds me of like live house music and just like the whole trance music of just, getting into a different state of mind. So
Yep.
there's a lot of untapped areas in music when it comes to this audience. I think it's more about bridging the gap. Cause again, like you said, it's very easy to just copy everything they're doing out there. But when it comes to innovation, there's a big lack here. We build softwares and we build a lot of programs, and even in technology, like when you're working with a couple of developers, they really can't like innovate. They just give them
No.
something that's already out there. They'll copy it in 20 seconds, right?
The problem is, bro, sorry to cut you off. The problem is, bro, is only masters can create. What you're seeing is basically copy, cut, rinse, and repeat. And it's not their
Mhm.
fault because you got to remember what's happening. So when we were making records, like it was so hard. It was hard to make music. Not everybody could just make music. Not only that, but like you'd spend $5,000-6,000 on a demo, 3
Mhm.
songs maybe, whatever it is, and then you'd have to pray, Gurdwara jaake haath jod ke be like, okay, will the A&R actually listen to it? And then you actually have to get on a rotary phone call and be calling a number, be like, have you heard it? Have you heard it? Right? So you know how everyone's like, oh, well, there's too many gatekeepers and blah blah blah. Well, look at now without the gatekeepers, it's a
Yeah.
shit show,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was harder. Now that mystique is gone, anyone
Yeah.
can make music, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is it's great for anyone that can make music, but what you're getting is, for example, I'm so and so, I'm like, okay, I'll go on YouTube and be like, okay, how do I write a song, right? They're not learning because they're not masters in the craft, they're copying. So if I'm watching you writing a song, I'm writing your song.
Mm-hmm.
I may change the words, but I'm
Mhm.
still writing your song. Okay,
Yeah.
how do I rap this? They're gonna
Mhm.
find a rapper, they're gonna rap their song, but they're rapping his song. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like
Mhm.
you're in the rap scene there. They all sound the same. No disrespect
Mhm.
to you guys, man, but
Mhm.
you all sound the same.
Mhm.
Right? So then the next guy will be like, okay, I want to make a trap beat. Okay. They'll go in, okay, I'm gonna do that. And they'll do the exact same thing. Changing a snare here and there doesn't matter. There's a sonics of it, right? Then
Mhm.
like, okay, now I need to mix the song. They'll go and watch a tutorial. They're not understanding the concepts. They'll literally
Mhm.
take that and copy it, right?
Mhm.
So what you're getting is basically they're finding these mentors, but they're copying them. And now we've got mediocre music because they're watching a mediocre tutorial and they're
Yeah.
copying exactly. And you're never going to get it the same because,
Mhm.
his listening environment is probably different than your list. That's the other problem, right? Like if I'm mixing a record, what I
Mhm.
hear is different than what you're listening to in your environment.
Yeah.
So they're copying the settings direct, right? You don't know
Mhm.
how many sessions I get daily where I'm like, what have you done here? And I'll like unmute everything that they've done, all the processing. And I'll send it back to them like, oh, wow, this sounds good. I go, yeah, because I took off all your shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'll ask them questions like, why did you do this? Well, I don't know. I saw it on a tutorial. I'm like, what? Like
Yeah.
it hurts me because, it's the opposite problem from us. It's like, why the hell you like we'd get slapped, bro. Like, because because you gotta remember time is money back in the day, and we were running on 2-inch tape. So if you screwed up, we'd have to rewind the tape and do the whole thing over again.
Hmm.
There was no
Mhm.
cutting in right?
Mhm.
So if the singer screwed up, the band be like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, bro! Now we got to play the whole thing over again," right?
Yeah,
There's no
yeah,
punching in,
yeah,
right? So it's a different mentality, right? But now with endless takes and endless tutorials out there, you're getting copycat, rinse and repeat because they don't know any better. It's not their fault, right?
no,
But
and it
if you have
also
gatekeepers in place, like for example, like when you're gonna release stuff, you're the gatekeeper,
yeah,
right? But
yeah,
you're at the end of the chain, right? What you need is the ones that are gonna siphon the bullshit in the beginning. That's not
yeah,
happening because the
no.
DSPs don't care. They don't care.
And also, like, that's what takes away from your original sound, the uniqueness of it. Now you sound like everyone else because it's just like, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna take that beat, I'm just gonna rap something like this on there,
yeah,
and it's the same shit over and over again. You know,
yeah,
it's the same thing. Like, I'm just like, dude, like, what the hell's going on here? That's when I put on my house music because it's like it's the
yeah, yeah,
same thing
yeah,
over and over and over and over
yeah.
again. And I'm like, I need something else to listen to right
Yeah.
now.
It's why we all go back to stuff that we trust our ears with, right? And that we feel
Mm-hmm.
good with because it's like, okay, this stuff matters, right? Like the new
Yeah,
stuff, unfortunately, it's
noise.
compostable material, right? It's just
Yeah,
noise.
it's
It's
hell of
sad though,
it.
because you and I know so many good people that just can't be bothered anymore because of this, because they
Mm-hmm.
realize it's like I'm just gonna sound like everybody else and I'm better than them because
Yeah,
that's what people want.
yeah,
It's a catch 22. It sucks,
yeah.
you know?
It's an interesting time because like I'm seeing the artists that were killing it, right? They just kind of like backed off. So I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? Where are all these no-name guys coming? I understand it's like a new era, new artist, new sound, but like there's so many people that just went silent. And then I'm like, is it because of like music disputes in the back end? Is it ownership? Is it like because why promote something that's not yours anymore? Right? Like what's really going on? So it'd be nice to have all these OGs come back and, drop some
Yeah.
new stuff, man.
It would be,
Yeah.
man, because like with music, there's real no sort of age limit per se. You know what I
No,
mean?
no.
I mean, everyone's got a shelf life per se, but at the end of
Mm-mm.
the day, and that's my biggest gripe because I grew up on obviously, having lived in the UK, I grew up listening to UK punk and music and all the bands.
Mm.
And my biggest sort of, thing with that was like the bands just gave up at some point.
Yeah.
But if someone would have stayed consistent over time, they may not have made the money or they may not have got the gigs, but they still would have been, you know what I mean, there, right? Not
Yeah. Yeah.
irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because you and I know as a culture, we've done a piss poor job of documenting our goats, our
Yep.
best of the best. We
Mm-hmm.
haven't. Like, and there's gonna be a point in time, which is already happening now. Like
Mm-hmm.
2015 is the cutoff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone for like millennial or Gen Z, they don't know anything
Yeah.
past 2015,
Yeah.
right? Like you've probably seen my posts. I'm arguing with like all these IG pages. Oh, XYZ was a first to blah blah blah. I'm like, no, he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where are you getting your intel from? Like, what
Mm-hmm.
the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, it's like it hurts my soul when our goats were the first to do something, and then someone else is getting credit
Yeah.
for no reason, right? It,
Yeah.
it drives me insane. It's like you couldn't do like 5 minutes worth of research. You know what I mean?
I had that discussion with Jazz Deep once. He's like, dude, people are only gonna see LeBron James at one point, and they're gonna
It's
like,
true.
because
Yeah,
he's gonna have more footage out. There's just
yeah,
gonna be more of LeBron everywhere,
yeah,
and people are
yeah.
gonna be like, LeBron's the goat,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right?
right?
It's exactly like,
Yeah.
I'll have these conversations with these like, I'll call them kids. And I mean that respectfully is because, I'm much older than them. And they're like, and when you explain to, and then you go, well, just go look yourself. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay. Right. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, well, it is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. But if we had ours, that's the whole goal with me now is I'm not here for any accolades. That time is done, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
just I want to celebrate the stuff that made me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That put
That,
Reminisce on the map.
yeah. So
That's what it's
so
about for me.
my next question was gonna be,
Yeah.
if you could sit down with your 20-year-old self, not to change anything, just to talk,
Yep.
what would you say to him?
I would say, and I can say this from experiences, because I got to give you the backstory first. So I was DJing at 14, 15-year-old, starting at 14, 15. I was in the clubs at a very young age. And so I grew up basically with mentors that were 20 years older than me, right? So I grew up older than everybody in my school. So when I used to go back, so if I'm DJing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I go back to school Monday, I couldn't relate to any of them. They want to do like, I would say child stuff. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So what I would honestly, what I would say is the hard group really quick. It's like you got to really take what's in front of you and embrace life. That's what I would say to my younger self because I missed out on a lot, bro. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
As
Yeah.
as someone who kind of started out of the gate in sort of like a man's field,
Hmm.
younger than most, because I couldn't develop solid relationships with homies. You know what I mean?
Mm,
All my friends were all older, and most of them have passed away now, right? Like you know what I mean? So because that stuff matters too. You want to, you do want, that sort of, you want a normal sort of life, I would put it. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
And that is like any opportunity that comes at your door, at least evaluate it before you say no, like
Mm,
thoroughly evaluate it. Because I don't know how many times where I've had opportunities come to my door and just out of whatever spite or just whatever, I've said no. And it was a
right.
mistake,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in hindsight, I've had opportunities come at me and I've studied them like this ain't for me, and I got lucky.
Hmm.
So and start, you got to get that in your head at a very young age because you can make mistakes younger and get away with it,
Yeah.
right? When you have a family, when you have kids, responsibilities, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Last question for the
Yep.
evening. And I mean this as a human being, not as an
Yep.
artist. When the noise fades, what would you want people to say about how you live?
When it's all said and done, bro, I just want people to remember me that I gave a shit. I gave a shit about every single person in the culture, especially
Hmm.
in the arts. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't care about who you were, what your background was, even if you didn't like me, even if you had beef with me. If you had a record, I played it, whether it was radio, on my podcast, because I've had the longest running music podcast ever. I have a 10-year run, right? So anything that I've done, I put my full integrity into it. I rep the culture as much
Hmm.
as I possibly could since like 14, 15, every single day for over 3 decades. This is all I've done, right? And I just want people to remember, like, he was the one that actually gave a shit and they got the receipts for them because a lot of people can say a lot of shit, but they can't walk the walk. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man.
It's not about arrogance. It's not even about respect. Like, I don't care if you don't like me. I honestly
Hmm.
don't. It doesn't bother me, right?
Hmm.
Because y'all don't pay my bills, right?
Right.
It's about someone who actually did whatever they could. And this is specifically for the underground. Like,
Hmm.
like if you had a song out and, it was whatever and nobody gave it or no one played it, I would play it. I didn't care. I'd be like, you know what? I'll fucking play it, right? I can tell you from DJing, like when I was DJing in the clubs or weddings, all these DJs would come up to me starting out because no one gave me an opportunity at all. Nobody gave me an opportunity. Hand on heart, no one gave me an opportunity. Even operated like, when I would try to do weddings when I was starting
Yeah.
out, no one would give me an opportunity. Anytime a DJ came to me, right? They'd be like,
Yeah.
hey man, I'm a DJ. Can I throw on a set? I'll be like, go ahead. Right.
Right.
Right. Even if they messed up bad, that's how you learn, right? At the
Yep.
end of the
Yep.
day.
Hmm.
Obviously within reason, if it's a wedding, it was a kind of like, okay, well, you can't screw that up because they're paying me for a service, so to speak.
Hmm.
But I'll give them an opportunity and be like, two reasons, right? It gives them confidence,
Yeah.
right? And second of all, and this is going to sound really bad, but I'm getting paid at the end of the day, whether I DJ or not, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
whatever, right? So, and that's why I want people to remember me as someone for the culture across the board around the world. I didn't care where you're from, Africa, India, Malaysia, Punjab, right? I gave a shit. I played all the records that
Yeah.
no one wanted to play, whether it was in a
Right.
club, on a radio, or at a wedding. Kid you not. Like, you know what? And like coming back forefront, like I'm back online active daily is
Yep.
because I'm here to prove that to you guys,
Hmm.
right? I'm pulling out vinyls and I'm like, you see my IG, I'm like, bro, I'm the only DJ that ever played this, right?
Yeah.
People are like,
Yeah.
shit, I've
Yeah.
never heard this song before. I'm like, yeah, see, I told you,
Yeah.
right? And then people like this caused me more work now. People are like, oh well, you
Yeah.
should create a playlist. I'm like, god damn. So now I created a playlist. Now I got to manage
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's at the point, like it's not even about arrogance. It's like this is the shit. Like this is certified bangers, right? That are proven,
Mhm.
right? And I'm giving them to you because I want you to remember these songs because no one else is going to remind you. That's what it's about, right? I don't make anything out of it, bro. If they stream one of your songs or somebody else, it's called no hi faida milda, right? At the end of the day, I
Dude,
don't get anything out of it.
we appreciate all the work you've
You
been
know what I mean?
putting. I always talk about it with Jazz
Yeah,
Dub. Like you've been putting in a lot of work, man. And to be honest,
every day.
you're also leading an example. Like, don't stop, keep going, keep
No,
pushing.
you can't.
Right?
Bro, the day you stop is the day you die. The day you stop, bro, is the day the culture dies. A small part of it or a big part of it, depending on where you are, right? You know what I mean? I may think I'm insignificant, and I probably am, but at the
Mhm.
end of the day, I know that there are certain pieces of the culture that people need to know. Just like you need to keep doing what you do because of certain things. Bro, I look at your stuff and I'm like, holy shit, I didn't know that or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I learn every day too,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? Like when you guys are putting out your hip hop mixtape, I'm a hip hop head.
Yeah.
I'm like one of the biggest hip hop heads you probably know. That's my
Yeah.
first love.
Mhm.
I love hip hop. When I see, like especially from our hood, like from Canada,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Apne doing hip hop, bro,
Yeah.
I'm there. I
Yeah.
like, bars or not, whatever. I don't give a fuck, bro. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna play your shit.
Yeah.
I can tell you, man, when I played your stuff on some of my things, people are like, what is
Mhm.
this? Right?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
early sort of Apne rappers
Yeah.
doing like Punjabi English. I
Yeah.
would play Honey Sing. I would play all these guys like on radio. I remember on radio, bro. I was on Radio India. I can say it because they're no longer around. I was on Radio
Yeah.
India. I used to play all the stuff that you and I listened to. I
Yeah.
used to get phone calls of people yelling at me. Aki laya bakwas,
Yeah.
judge de gaane lao. Bro, every Friday night.
Yeah.
Every Friday night for 3
Yeah.
years, I'd get yelled at.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm like, I would tell management, like, look, you got to trust me, man. Like,
Yeah.
ek koi show 2 घंटे, right? 24 घंटे, 7 दिन, the rest of them, like, play whatever you want. Just give me my
Yeah.
2 hours. I'm going to play whatever I want, right?
Yeah.
Over time, it took 3 years, but over time, when I left, people were calling saying, "Kitte gaya munda?" I started because I would play. See, I know everyday life, right?
Yeah.
Like most people like you. So I was the guy that if you're working, if you're out in the garden,
Yeah.
doing something, if you're a security guard,
Yeah.
right? If you're like our Han de Jede, right?
Yeah.
Because we're from like our talks, our music, everything I played was related to us. I was the
Yeah.
only one doing it. Because if you listen to, like I call it Baba radio, right? If you listen
Yeah.
to what do they cater for? People that are 20 years older than us still
Mhm.
do,
Mhm.
right? There was
Mhm.
nothing. I was a ground, like I can honestly say hand on heart. There's a couple people that had their own show, like on like on co-op radio. They were
Mhm.
crushing, like Lady B on our side, Indian Line. They had the shows, but on regular Punjabi Baba radio, I was the one who cut the noise. That was me.
Yeah, we need that, man. We need that.
Yeah,
We need more platforms. Like the only thing, what do we have globally is like BBC radio,
yeah, but
right?
we can't even get it here.
No, and it's like,
Right?
who's gonna do it? You
Yeah.
know?
Like you were doing stuff. You had like Imperial Dissy doing stuff out there in Ottawa.
Mhm.
He was dope,
Mhm.
bro. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But like anything, like time to anything, like I don't want to go back on radio. I'll get like beat up. You know what I mean? They're like, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
No, I'm definitely looking forward to collaborating on a project moving forward. And
yeah, it'd be
honestly, I
an
think
honor,
this is
bro.
this is the first time we ever kicked it, and it was a blast,
Yeah,
man. And thank you
yeah.
so much to be on my first ever episode on the Jason
Honor is all
Maharaja
mine,
show.
bro. Honor is all mine.
And
Thank you.
thanks a lot, man. And we'll connect soon, brother.
For sure, brother.
Is there anything else you want to say before going?
I just want to say this, man. Just keep moving the culture forward. Like people have only seen like 10-20% of what us Punjabis can do.
Mm.
There's so much more we can do. So much more. And make sure you guys hit up Jason on, follow him on all everything. Watch all this shit, bro. Cause this guy, I'm telling you, I've heard some of his stuff. But you're sitting on a gold mine. You got to get that stuff out. Honestly. You're sitting on a gold mine.
It's coming. It's
Follow this
coming.
guy.
It's coming. All right, brother.